in right now.
Okay, we're good.
I can start recording if you want to
Yep.
call the meeting
Yep.
order. Recording. We're good.
Okay, good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order, September 28th, 2020, for the Warrenwood School Board. Do a roll call. Attendance, Green present. Schulte is absent with notice. Ms. Walsh is here. Ms. Walsh,
Present.
Mr. Zanetti,
Zanetti present.
Mr. Barkey,
Barkey present.
Mr. Fitzpatrick,
Fitzpatrick present.
Mr. Hiller.
Hiller present.
Mr. Hill is present. We have a quorum. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3 is agenda approval. Ms. Denham.
I have no changes.
So moved by Zanetti.
Support by Hiller.
Motion by Zanetti, support by Hiller. Mr. Zanetti.
Zanetti, yes.
Mr. Hiller.
Hiller, yes.
Ms. Walsh.
Walsh, yes.
Mr. Barkey.
Barkey, yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, yes.
Green, yes. The motion carries. Item 4 is the minutes of the meeting of September 14th. I was not here.
Correct.
I abstained.
This is Fitzpatrick. I make a motion to accept the minutes of September 14th as presented.
Walsh supports.
Motion by Fitzpatrick, support by Ms. Walsh. Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, yes.
Ms. Walsh.
Walsh, yes.
Zanetti.
Zanetti, yes.
Mr. Hiller.
Hiller, yes.
Mr. Barkey.
Barkey, yes.
And this. Motion carries. Item 5 is correspondence.
Yes, before I start with the correspondence, I just want to remind everyone that we are streaming this meeting live to YouTube, and the direct stream causes a 15 to 20-second delay. If you would like to speak to the board at public expression, please call the number at the top of the agenda now and listen to the remaining portions of the meeting from your phone. Upon admittance, you will be muted when you call in. When it's your turn to speak, we will unmute you and call on you by the last 4 digits of your phone number. This will prevent delays and feedback that we have gotten at previous meetings. So again, if you are interested in calling in for public expression, please do so now with the number that is on the agenda, and I will read it to you now. It is 646-558-8656, and the meeting ID is 867-2679-4536, and the passcode is 846353. For correspondence, we have 3 items of parent correspondence in your packet, and 1 from staff from the early childhood caregivers.
I'll entertain a motion to receive and file.
Zanetti, will support.
No, I need a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Zanetti will make a motion to accept the correspondence as received.
Motion by Zanetti,
Support by Fitzpatrick.
support by Mr. Fitzpatrick. Mr. Zanetti.
Zanetti, yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, yes.
Ms. Walsh.
Walsh, yes.
Barkey.
Barkey, yes.
Mr. Hiller.
Hiller, yes.
Green, yes. The motion carries. Item 6 is payment of the bills.
Yes, Mr. President, tonight I'd like to pay the 2020 bond series 1 in the amount of $21,450.
That's it. Motion by Walsh.
Barkey, support.
Support by Mr. Barkey. Ms. Walsh.
Walsh, yes.
Barkey.
Barkey, yes.
Mr. Zanetti.
Zanetti, yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, yes.
Mr. Hiller.
Hiller, yes.
Green, yes. The motion carries. Item 8 is new business. Our first is, well, we don't have our student
They're
reps.
here.
Oh, we do.
They're
Student reps
virtually here.
virtually here. Ms. Denowith.
Yes, I'm going to turn it over to Kara and Hannah, your student reps. Ladies, if you could unmute yourselves.
Hello.
Hello.
How was
Hello.
your first day of school?
Great.
It was good.
It was good.
So, this past week, Mr. McKenzie allowed the freshmen to come in and to get a tour of the building so they could kind of see what they're up against. And so some of the mentors from last year came in that evening and helped the parents and the students get a tour of the school just so they would be a little more comfortable with their first day.
Yes, and Kara and I both went back to face-to-face learning today. And from what we witnessed and talking to other students about it, we think the day went really well. The staff did a fantastic job with helping us kind of re-navigate the school with how the stairs work and how the hallways work now. And they were able to answer so many of our questions because there's a lot of them, which was very helpful. And basically by the end of the day, everyone knew what needed to be done and how it needed to be done. So we thought it was a really good first day back in school, which was awesome. So
Excellent.
But also to add on to Hannah's thing, as student reps, like we also want to tell you like I shouldn't say the bad parts, but like the things that kind of like make like you wonder. So there was a lot of people that actually said this, that they kind of almost questioned their choice of going back face to face because they are almost doing the same thing that they were doing at home, but just in a desk with 14 other kids. And I just feel like a lot of kids are still kind of feeling unsure of their choice, going back to school and either staying at home. And I just feel like the whole country, as well as dealing with the thought of confusion with what they should do. And as high schoolers, I think this is a learning opportunity to know what's best for yourself and your learning needs. And I'm so thankful that our district is offering both options for students to choose, because I feel like a lot of kids want to go back and there's the kids that want to stay home. And I'm just like thankful that we have both opportunities. And I also want to thank like all the teachers and the whole district for working really hard to keep us safe, because I felt super safe going back to school today.
Oh, thank you, Kara.
and that's all we got for today.
You ladies have incredible insight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we enjoy listening to you. And you're right, it's a very good point. Pros and cons. That's why we have our student representatives to tell us, what you see happening. So thank you for the frontline action and letting the board know what's going on. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
Next item is student achievement, a report, return to learn update, Ms. Dunlop.
Yes, this actually will be an action item, so we will have to approve it. I don't think it was noted as such on your dummy minutes. It is on the agenda.
Okay.
Yes, you have in your packet our return to learn document. You'll notice it is similar to the one that we did the first time that we approved one of these. We followed the same format with the Macomb Intermediate School District. After we review this tonight, and if it is approved, then we have to submit it to the ISD. They then submit it on our behalf to the state of Michigan. Then every 30 days, the board will have to recommit to the plan that we have put forth. This one is a little bit shorter than our first one. This one's only 22 pages long. I think the first one was quite a bit more than that, but I think the easiest way to start, it's similar to the audit. If we start, if you look on page 19, we have to assure, these are the assurances that we are agreeing to, and then the remaining portions of the document just go into more detail about those things. So the first thing is that once this is approved, we will post it on our transparency site, that we will conduct progress reports, and we will update the board on those educational goals. I reviewed those goals with you, I think, at the last meeting on the 14th. We talked about how we were going to use NWA, which is the number 3. We've used NWA in the past for our benchmark testing, so we will continue to do that for K-8. Those students, actually, we've had students who have chosen virtual that were actually in last week taking those tests. And then we'll catch up with our in-person kids. We have to, by law, make sure that those kids take this benchmark test. Then number 4 is just refers to the equity, that we will equitable access for students for technology. And as we've talked about, we have purchased more than 700 computers, and every student that is virtual that wanted a computer has access to one now. Number 5, we are assuring that we will follow the guidelines from the Macomb County Health Department. And I appreciate the work that our health department has done. They have been phenomenal in working with us and giving things that perhaps some other health departments haven't been willing to give their districts in regards to flow charts and even letters to share with parents and cell phone numbers of people to call on the weekend. So they have been wonderful. So we are just doing the assurances that we will follow that. Number 6 just says that we, if we were to not have in-person learning, that we would prioritize those in grades K through 5. We have chosen to obviously come back. We have about 50% face-to-face and 50% virtual. Number 7 just means that we, like I mentioned, we will reconfirm this plan every 30 days to review it to make sure that if there's any changes that we need to make. Number 8 is just that we will follow all the equitable access for special education. And then for number 9, it just refers to the two-way interactions that have to occur between a pupil and a student each week for 75% of the students that are enrolled. So we will be doing that as well. So if a student is present in the teacher's class physically, that counts as present, or if they are virtually and they're logged into that meeting for the day, they count as present. And if they're not, the teacher has to reach out to them somehow, whether it's via email or a phone call or something like that, and document it in order to meet that 75%. I think for the most part, the most important things for us to review tonight, and we've done this quite a few times, but starting on page 6, this is exactly how we will deliver instruction. And we talked about this. As we mentioned, we've given parents a choice. And we have about 50% choosing in person and 50% choosing virtual. We have given our teachers professional development to address the needs and the concerns that they had prior to school starting. In the last month, we have modified teacher schedules to maximize social distancing, hired additional teachers, and spread kids out so that the kids that we do have in person are spread out. We've decreased some specials at the elementary, and we've used those teachers in their certification. If they were certified to teach K-5, we pulled them from their special and actually put them in a classroom in order to spread kids out. That means, unfortunately, that we won't have every special for every kid this year, but we're going to rotate through the ones that we do have so that we ensure that the teachers get their prep time, which is what our specials provide, but then also that the students, whether they're in person or virtually, get access to those specials materials. In addition, we have modified schedules for students to try to minimize the amount of time they spend either in front of the computer or allowing them oftentimes, if they're a virtual kid, more time to communicate with the teacher. Because if they're not there in the classroom, it's not as easy to ask a question. So we've given some time in those schedules to allow kids to do that. So the other important page would be the next one, page 8, which just talks about our providing equity for our instruction for core academic areas. You know, the digital tools that we purchased, one of the big things that we purchased over the summer is obviously we have textbooks, but allowing kids virtual access to those textbooks, because we often have class sets that, you know, now our in-person kids have, but our kids at home do not. So those things that we've purchased and passed out, and tools that we've given to kids. And then also the communication with parents, in addition to their PowerSchool parent portal that they always use, we've also given parents access to Schoology, so they have a parent login, so they can log in and see everything that's happening in the class as well, because that was one of the questions that we had gotten at the end of last year, that parents wanted to see what was going on. So we have implemented that this year as well. So those are the main highlights. Once, if this is approved, then I will send it to the ISD. If there's anything wrong with it, they would get back to me. They have to send it to the state by October 9th.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept this revised plan.
Motion by Barkey,
Support by Hiller.
support by Hiller. Are there any questions?
Just a few questions.
Yes.
Actually, so on page 8, where we
Mr.
just kind of,
Zanetti, Mr. Zanetti.
Mr. Zanetti, yes. On page 8,
Yes.
where we're just talking in the middle, like the third paragraph, where it talks about the different Mystery Science, NC3, Michigan Open Book Project. So after we kind of get through this next, the next 30 days, can we have like an evaluation on which of these tools are working and which ones are we having issues with, or is it like everything's green light and we're going? Just so, if we start to hear some feedback from the community,
Mhm.
that we can address it, as individuals that, hey, my daughter or my son is this, we can share that feedback with you guys as well, but also have, the curriculum director come in and talk to us about these different tools, because they may work in some districts, they may not work there,
Right.
so it'd just be nice to know.
And we had used quite a few more resources in the spring, and we heard from parents that it was just way too overwhelming, that there were so many things that their kids were logging into and trying, and, the parents would have to go here to get something, and then they'd have to log in someplace else. So we did pare it down quite a bit from what we had in the spring, so that would be a good a revisit to that, just to see what the feedback Kara is getting from the teachers and then also from the parents.
Okay. And I do like the fact that now the parents have their own, that they can access it and go to their kids' account for Schoology. I think that was a nice option for the parents to have that capability, right? So that's all. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, it was motion by Barkey. Mr. Barkey.
Barkey, yes.
Mr. Hiller.
Hiller, yes.
Ms. Walsh.
Walsh, yes.
Mr. Zanetti.
Zanetti, yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, yes.
Green, yes. The motion carries. Next item is an appointment for the MASB delegate. I believe it's Mr. Schulte, or that's who we're going to recommend. Right. So I entertain. Well, I didn't.
Yeah,
I need a
we have to
motion.
have a-
What am I doing wrong here right now?
I know it didn't have the,
Yeah, you know what, I'm spoiled, but I'm used to it.
I know.
So I'll entertain a motion for that.
This is Heller. I'll make the motion to appoint Mr. Schulte as our representative to the MASB.
Fitzpatrick supports.
Motion by Hiller, support by Mr. Fitzpatrick. Mr. Hiller.
Heller, yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, yes.
Ms. Walsh.
Walsh, yes.
Mr. Zanetti.
Zanetti, yes.
Mr. Barkey.
Barkey, yes.
Green, yes. The motion carries. Thank you, Mike. Item 8C is an extended COVID-19 learning plan.
That was what we already fixed.
That was this one, so. Yeah, obviously that is. Item 9 is personnel items. Leaves, Ms. Denver.
Yes, you have in your packet the request for 2 leaves, one for a family medical leave and one for a personal unpaid leave.
Zanetti, so moved. Fitzpatrick support.
Motion by Zanetti, support by Mr. Fitzpatrick. Mr. Zanetti.
Zanetti, yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, yes.
Ms. Walsh.
Walsh, yes.
Mr. Hiller.
Heller, yes.
Mr. Barkey.
Barkey, yes.
Green, yes. The motion carries. The next item is new hires. Ms. Denver.
Yes, you have in your packet 4 new hires. Andrea Castronova, a clerk for Briarwood Elementary. Krista Hannenberg, the curriculum APA. Ashley Loretti, a Briarwood teacher, and Julia Yokel, a clerk at Warrenwoods Middle School.
Heller, motion to approve the new hires.
Motion by Hiller.
Fitzpatrick supports.
Support by Mr. Fitzpatrick. Mr. Hiller.
Heller, yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, yes.
Ms. Walsh.
Walsh, yes.
Mr. Zanetti.
Zanetti, yes.
Mr. Markey.
Barkey, yes.
Green, yes. The motion carries. The next item is public expression. Ms. Denver.
Yes, it looks like we have a caller, the last 4 digits, 9605. I'm gonna see the unmute button. Okay.
Hello?
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 Yes, we can hear you. Can you state your name?
My name is Cheryl Bretz.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Cheryl Bretz, Bretz.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, hi there. I worked on this statement with there 4 other families, and we just wanted to voice some of our concerns and frustrations. We're all parents of sixth grade boys, and we all chose the 100% virtual option for the semester as we didn't feel the district was prepared or gave us really enough information. First and foremost, we want to make it clear that our statement, our concerns, and our issues are not with the teachers at all. Our frustration is with the administration and the superintendent. That does not include the principals, as we believe, like the teachers, they were brought into this too late in the process and planning. And we think it shows once they were brought into the process and planning, they have done a wonderful job in the short amount of time they were given. The lack of planning during the summer months, when you had ample time to look ahead, as we all knew there was not going to be a cure for COVID available in time for our start date. How come other districts had detailed plans? The parents as a group, we met over the summer. We had some plans from Land's Cruise, and it was an embarrassment to see their lack of preparedness compared to the information we had received from the district at that time. It was virtually nothing. And speaking of planning and timing, the decision to do in-person or virtual was one of the most biggest and hardest decisions we have had to make as parents. And when it came to planning the school year for our children and deciding what option to go with, we were to make the decision with limited to no actual real information about what either program would look like. We didn't have details about what the safety precautions would be in place if they returned in person, and we didn't have the robust virtual option available with information and detail provided for that. The information provided at the last school board meeting should have been provided to us in early August before we were forced and rushed to make a semester-long commitment. Now, for the robustness or lack thereof of the virtual option so far. And we are hoping that going forward with the new schedule, it's going to get much better. But that first month was a joke. We all understood that the first week of virtual learning with new systems and getting the kinks out, but now the students should be well into a more vigorous pace of curriculum. The kids have done so many interest inventories for all classes that it has become redundant. It feels like the Warren Wood Public Schools have lowered the bar instead of raising it. Research shows that students excel further when the expectations are set higher, and we feel as though the curriculum has been watered down and that the kids who are responsible, high-achieving students are becoming bored and unmotivated. We need to challenge our children. All the information said that the program would be more robust than what we had in the spring. Well, robust means strong, healthy, and vigorous. Does done by 12:30? Does only 2 hours a week of live instruction per subject? Does not having a mechanism to capture attendance, so it's taking teachers up to 35 minutes to finish roll call? Teachers having to take class time to verbally have kids without printers write down their math problems. Couldn't that have been solved by getting some kind of packet out for pickup for those without printers? Does that sound robust? A few of my sons, his friends, their parents are actually thinking of pulling them from the district. And I hate, and it makes me sad to think that Jacob's going to be losing his friends and some of his classmates that he's had since kindergarten because you are not prepared, because you did not have enough information for us. You did not do your job. Like I said, we are hoping with the kids back in person and the new virtual schedule that things will improve, because as of now, we feel that this board and the upper administration have let the children of this district down, and we hope our children do not fall behind. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
There's one more.
That's it, okay.
I would like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
A motion by Mr. Barkey.
Support by Mr. Zanetti.
Support by a surprise, Mr. Zanetti. Mr. Barkey.
Barkey, yes.
Mr. Zanetti.
Zanetti, yes.
Ms. Walsh.
Walsh, yes.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, yes.
Mr. Hiller.
Hiller, yes.
Green, yes. Motion carries.